is, you know.
How have you learned to eliminate suffering in your personal life through the good and the bad that comes in? Have you feel like you've mastered that where you don't suffer anymore?
I don't feel like I suffer very much, no. And I can't say that I would never again, but I can't imagine what there would be that I would. And
And
really, the way that I did that was really on the journey, which is all in the book, and it is a journey.
hmm
But one of the things, and it's in The Secret, what you resist persists,
hmm
right? And so I came to understand that if we resisted negative feelings, then we just push them down inside of us and suppress them, and then they would just be sparking off at every little thing, you know. If you've got anger suppressed inside of you, you can bet there's going to be a whole lot of things in the world that are going to trigger that anger that is pushed down inside of you. And so I actually intuitively worked out that if I welcomed a negative feeling, like imagined like putting my arms around it and bringing it in close to me, what was so amazing, it would intensify for like 1 second to 2 seconds, and then it would just evaporate. You know,
Wow.
something that we try and push them away, you know, we don't want to feel them, but we're not pushing them away. We're pushing them down here, which then plays havoc on our body, you know. So one by one, as a negative feeling would arise, I would welcome it. It
Wow.
would dissolve. And then if it came back, it would just never be as strong like it was. It was like really weak. And so then I'd welcome it again until I don't feel it anymore. I don't think it's possible for me to get angry anymore.
Wow. So say
Yeah.
someone say someone you love or a friend of yours or someone you love
Yeah.
in a relationship is getting angry at you. And
Yeah.
they get angry at you for little things, whether it's your fault or not your fault. How
Hmm.
would you take on that situation?
Yeah, that wouldn't bother me. Um,
So well, so if someone's just like,
because
Rhonda,
I
I
would
don't like that
just,
you did this or you're bad in
uh,
this area, what would you get
yeah.
defensive or would you just
No,
say,
because I would just look at them and see that that is not them. That's the mind and the ego talking, and
mm,
that's not them. And
that's
so
powerful.
just right, so just wouldn't take that personally because it's not personal actually at all. Even if somebody is coming to you with a whole lot of stuff, it's just a recording, a it's just a program in the mind, and it seems like it's personal, but it's not personal. And so I just wouldn't engage and inflame that situation.
What if someone's like, Rhonda, this book is horrible.
That's all right.
I don't like the way you look. They're just saying everything is whatever. They're saying all
Yeah,
these things. They're trying to attack you. They're
yeah,
trying to put all these negative comments
yeah.
online. None of that would affect you.
No,
You would just smile and
no.
say, let me hug this emotion.
Yeah, because you know everybody's got different opinions, and everybody's in a different place, and I just feel incredible compassion if I see somebody upset because I know that they have that emotion suppressed inside of them. I know they can't help it. It's like a pressure cooker and it's got to come out. That's why it's not personal, because if the family member that's going at you and they're angry because they've got a whole lot of anger suppressed inside of them. And so what happens is the subconscious mind is desperately looking for a trigger in the outside world to release
Wow.
some of the anger. And so it's just not personal. And so and you know, if somebody was like angry, I would just be like, you know what? Think you're right. You
Mm.
know, think you're right. Just be allowing of that. Now, I can't say that I don't know if every single situation in my life is going to be like that, but I have not felt anger for a long time.
Wow. Now, what if someone's listening saying, well, I feel like someone's walking all over me every time. I feel like
Mm,
I'm a punching bag for their
mm,
emotions. I feel like they
mm,
just take everything out on me, whether it's
mm-hmm.
they're married or a couple. What advice would you have for someone in reinterpreting that as opposed to taking it personally if they feel that way?
Yeah. Well, of course, you
Like,
don't want to let people walk all over you too, you know, but you don't want to stop them when you're all full of negative emotion, because then they're going to feel the negative emotion and then there's
more.
going to be fireworks, right? And so you can draw the line with somebody, but if you're drawing the line and you're neutral and you're not filled with emotion, it's so amazing to see that person will just comply.
Shift. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll just be like, oh, okay, sorry, didn't realize, because they don't feel any animosity or anything coming from you. So that would be the first thing. But if you cannot
Mm,
be in that kind of place where you're not feeling a whole lot of things, the work is an inside job. It is. If all of those thoughts are coming up from you, that they're beating up on me, they're this, you've got feelings of unworthiness inside of you. This is why it's manifesting. None of those things are true. People are way more magnificent than they realize that they are. They have all the power in the world.
were you an
Uh,
angry person ever? Or did you have angry emotions at any point in your life?
I did.
And
Oh, yeah.
do you remember the moment when you said, this no longer works for me. It doesn't serve me anymore. I'm going to stop being angry. Was there a moment that this happened?
Yeah, I think there was. I wanted to be, I just didn't want to suffer anymore. That was really
Yes.
the moment for me.
Yes.
Like I sought the truth. I was seeking the truth because I wanted a way out of suffering. And I've got an incredible life. But what I talk when I talk about suffering, what I mean is suffering from the mind, not suffering from what's happening in the world,
Yeah.
suffering from the mind, suffering from this, the constant, mind, getting stuck into us saying, you shouldn't have done that. That was dumb, or I don't know how you're going to go doing that podcast. Or, I
Right.
mean, I don't have those thoughts anymore, but I would have all of those things, I'd have to do a pitch and the mind would just be, how are you going to do this without freezing up? How are you going to do it? And so it would just beat me up. And then you have all those thoughts and then you feel really bad. And I just did not want to suffer from the mind anymore. And I was very clear, it's not the world, it's the mind.